At the Thanksgiving mark of the season, starting with the great news, everybody should be absolutely thankful for the greatness of Nikola Jokic in the middle of his prime, doing ridiculous things on the court to a level we never seen from any other great. The Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics on pace for over 60 wins. Even Detroit, after half a decade of misery, starting to click. Too many teams believe they have what it takes to contend for a deep postseason run, but in reality, a couple of those squads won't even make it to the playoffs. Let's start off with the biggest failure, disgrace of an embarrassment, an absolute despicable travesty. The pathetic, weak-minded, soft failure of the disgusting process, the Philadelphia 76ers. It's been over a decade since the process supposed to start, led by the most disgruntled superstar of this era, Joel Embiid, most unreliable franchise player the league's ever seen. If there's one thing the NBA gods got right, denying Joel a trip to the conference finals goes to show the big man don't have what it takes to lead a team. The highlight of his career, besides crying for that MVP, hopping on Team USA's bandwagon, beating Serbia, needing all the US-born superstars to beat Jokic. No player's reputation over the last month been destroyed as much as the soon-to-be 31-year-old wanting the easy way out. Many have the right to question him, winning a free gold medal, easy trophy, knowing he can't leave Philly to a chip, telling jokes and trolling while his team's in difficult losing situations. Nobody's gonna let that slide. Pistons franchise star Cade Cunningham turned down Team USA to focus on his rehab, and now look at how his team's progressing. And Embiid, still in street clothes, not playing the real games, called out by the younger, more mature Tyrese Maxey for being late. No wonder why the team never reached the conference finals. From Ben Simmons, James Harden, and Tobias Harris getting crushed, and Embiid with the audacity to blame others. Signed the extension for $60 million a year, showing up out of shape as usual. Lacks professionalism, says he don't want to play back-to-back. A me-first guy instead of team-first. Sixers supposed to win free agency, landing the best guy available in PG, who's been playing like PP. Franchise signed respectable pieces. Andre Drummond, brought back Kelly Oubre, drafted Rookie of the Year runner-up Jared McCain. Franchise doing everything to cater to their superstar. What more can Joel possibly ask for? Whole team did everything for him and he just can't suit up to deliver. And he's not the only one with issues. 34-year-old, $211 million max contract Paul George failed to step up. Clippers absolutely right to let him walk for nothing. Getting outplayed by rookie McCain, already a multitude of injuries, can't even be the Paul George of old, knowing Embiid's gonna be out when they need him to score 25. Still having those 15-point, 6 of 18 shooting games ain't gonna cut it. Only one time he scored above 20 all season. At this rate, he ain't even top 60 player in the league. Talks too much on his podcast, semi-washed up, gets plenty of blame since he still never won a thing. At this point, it's just about the money. There's no reason why 24-year-old Tyrese Maxey, the most mature player on the roster, George already proven to not be that guy to elevate his team, got claimed by Derrick Jones Jr. round 1 with the Clippers. His game can't adjust to do the dirty work, not a full-time player. Buddy Hield left Philly, went to Golden State, the team PG supposed to go, and Buddy having better numbers, 4 years, $38 million. George making $173 million more than Hield these 4 years, and Buddy barely missed a game in his career. Philly lucky if George plays even 55. Clippers without Kawhi, still above 500 at this point of the season. Norman Powell said it best, and now look at his numbers. 2 of the most unreliable duels, first team with no accountability. If Philly lands 1 to 6 in the coming draft, they own their pick. Anything after 7 goes to OKC. Wanting 3 years, $150 from the Clippers with a no trade clause? Who does PG think he is? A certified choker just like Embiid? Having playoff moments more embarrassing than Joel, getting demolished by rookie Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles got into his head, Dame Lillard sent him out of OKC, choked badly in the bubble. George acts like he won multiple titles when he's not deserving of having any of his jersey retired. $50 million a year to be a 4th option? Philly don't deserve to win shit. The franchise tanking for multiple draft picks, ruining the fragile limited Nerlens Noel's, Jahlil Okafor, Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, The Philadelphia 76ers should be banned from ever getting the #1 pick again. Maybe it's officially time to move this franchise to Camden, New Jersey. By far the biggest dysfunction in today's NBA, yet still enough time to make the playoffs. Being in the weaker East, even if they get in, they got no chance at winning whatsoever. Having washed up Eric Gordon and Reggie Jackson getting meaningful minutes, the front office mismanaging every star possible, can't conceal the impact of Joel's knee injuries. This season already lost, franchise must decide looking to trade Embiid. The longer they wait, his value's just gonna tank, getting hurt all the time. Instead of this team crumbling the month of May like they always do, it just happened early in November. PG and Embiid's image won't get any better unless the conference finals miracle happens, maybe in your dreams. Washington Wizards, losers of 13 straight, the pathetic franchise nobody cares about. They might not even get 15 wins, hasn't had a winning season since John Wall was healthy. Team stuck in no man's land the last 2 seasons, trying to win with a mid-3 of Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis when they should have been tanking for Wemby all along, only to tank for Alex Sarr. Worst ownership in the league. Front office made it clear they refused to tank for years, tried to be competitive regardless of their roster, like the Miami Heat. But the difference is, the Heat have a championship all-time great front office. Washington hasn't had an identity for decades, consider the bottom shelf of the NBA. If you were to name all 30 NBA teams without looking and missing 3 of them, Wizards likely will have the squash you're forgetting. Young 20-year-old Bilal Coulibaly and 19-year-old Alex Sarr, Carlton Carrington at least 3 years away, Jordan Poole chucking up shots, auditioning for his next team on an awful contract. The only thing that will save this team by having Cooper Flagg go to the nation's capital, which sounds like it makes too much sense not to pass up. Kuzma doing his best Hank impression by leaving a lasting legacy. New Orleans Pelicans, their entire medical staff, an absolute abomination of a travesty, should have gotten rid of injury-prone, lazy, underachieving Zion Williamson. Been called fat more than any other player in recent times, similar situation to Joel Embiid. If your best player can't suit up, the whole team falls apart. An exhausting, tiring Z experience, supposed to be a 6 full season, and Z stands for 0 playoff games played. From acting entitled, wishing he'd be in a big market like New York, Zion officially set the Pelicans franchise back a decade with his incompetency. Now 24 years old, supposed to be a top 5 player by now, but is he even top 50, top 5 most unreliable when he's already proven to not fit to be the cornerstone of a franchise and building any contender? New Orleans just gotta accept and acknowledge that. They'll easily move on. Now Zion and Brandon Ingram both value tanking. In about a month and a half, a couple 2022 lottery picks in Jabari Smith Jr., Keenan Murray, and Christian Brown, amongst others, will have already surpassed Zion in total NBA games played, assuming he'll be out till after the new year. $158 million worth of injuries, at least Alfred Payton earned another shot at the NBA. New Orleans an absolute circus. Pelts fans aged 20 years since the Zion experience, from the tattoo video only to get more roasting, becoming the easiest NBA punching bag. If everybody had to tell a player multiple times to change his habits and just work a little harder, and the player don't effing listen, it's on them. Just like him and Ben Simmons continuously giving false hopes, the practice videos of him doing 360 dunks only to sit out in the actual games. Zion could be out the NBA tomorrow and nobody would even give a damn. No super hype star has had his aura fade more quickly than Mr. Williamson himself. The saddest part is, he could still dominate and play like a superstar when he feels like it. An absolute waste of talent on his way to being out the league before age 30. The only competition Zion will have not being in the NBA hardwood, but battling with the Pelicans medical staff. His presence alone unhealthy for the franchise, the fans, same shit, different year. YouTube and social media, probably the worst thing to happen for his career, failing to put in the work and just relying on the hype. One of the many examples why there shouldn't be guaranteed contracts. New Orleans anticipated to have one of the deepest rosters the franchise seen. Everything always turns out too good to be true. David Griffin, not the sharpest of minds, got rid of any viable big men, did nothing about it. The unreliable Brandon underwhelming Ingram hasn't played above 64 games per year since being a rookie. Nobody even wants him at this point. Franchise failed to get rid of BI, who remained stagnant since 2020. Maybe he can benefit playing more with Alfred Payton as a pass-first point guard, simply not a max guy under any circumstances. DeJounte Murray lost some stock since failing to mesh with Trae Young at the ATL. CJ McCollum's already 33, injury prone. Arguably the worst starting lineup in NBA history. Half these guys that suit up, even the biggest NBA diehards never heard of them. Franchise absolutely lost the Anthony Davis trade in all aspects. 2 playoffs to show, no series won. Being in the West won't do this franchise any favors, posting the second best record in franchise history last season only to get swept as an 8 seed. Season couldn't have started any worse. The Minnesota Timberwolves. An absolute travesty of a decision, trading away beloved 4-time All-Star Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius No-Handle Randle. Team chemistry already dismantled. The struggles absolutely substantial. Too many turnovers. Rudy Gobert mishandled. Reasons for the trade: financial. Overpaid is Jaden McDaniel. Title hopes gone. Go light up a candle. From championship aspirations to brightest future, just 6 months ago, all left in a whirl of shambles. Owner Glenn Taylor, known for his cheapness, combined with the second apron penalties for big tax spenders, possibly destroyed Anthony Edwards' hopes of ever winning with the franchise. When there's a small window of opportunity to run it back and focus on the right pieces, give things another shot, then worry about the finances later. Getting the inferior Randle, nowhere near as good as Cat, 3 inches shorter, ball dominant, non-shooter, disrupt team's flow, sloppy with the ball. Towns being a 7-foot sniper allowed Ant to drive at will. Team somehow bottom 5 in rebounds. Gobert getting 11 boards. Randle only 7 a game, ain't cutting it. From first in defensive rating last season to middle of the pack, adding an ISO ball stopper roller coaster Julius and struggling Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley looking very washed. Nobody on the team averages more than 5 assists. Both Julius and Dante in trade rumors already, the disgusting turnover, the sloppy pass to Gobert. How much more can the franchise bear him and Rudy not seeing eye to eye? Took a full year for Cat and Rudy to get things going. For a more complicated player like Randle, Wolf fans don't want to see more of this. Cat's easygoing personality and professionalism doesn't get enough credit until he's no longer the guys. Ant-Man publicly calling his team soft, too many finger pointing, still proven he's not quite fully in the top 10 conversation yet. Needs to figure it out without Towns, settles for lots of outside jumpers, more added responsibility, and gets many of the blame being the face of the franchise. Edwards had the luxury to win many games while scoring less than 15 points last season, especially when Cat balls out. No longer the case this year. On a weaker squad, perhaps the franchise too overly confident on their 23-year-old, believing he truly the next Michael Jordan, when Ant-Man might not be as good as even prime Dwayne Wade. When Cat's at his best, clearly a top 5 7-footer in the game. When the vibes are bad with Julius, absolutely scary. Not much time to turn it around in the West. The difference between getting home court advantage in round 1 to getting stuck in the play-in could be just 2 games. Chris Finch needs to hold his starters more accountable, start Nas Reed ASAP, otherwise the identity crisis only grows deeper. Wolves fans' apologies letters, regretting how thankful they were of Cat when they were 2 steps away from the title, trading away a top 3 franchise player, now taking 3 steps backwards. Also losing Kyle Anderson, being a locker room presence, having the balls to call out Gobert, another underrated loss, the personnel, an absolute disaster. As for the other bad teams, the Bulls trying hard for a play-in, they are who they are at this point. Toronto low-key tanking for Flag, Charlotte praying LaMelo to be fully healthy, Milwaukee finally getting things together. The Western Conference 1 to 11 seeds will continue being a bloodbath. Many of the best players on these dysfunctional squads, too many problems, questionable leadership issues. Which one of these teams in the worst shape going forward? My vote goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more NBA topics. Catch you real soon. Stay tuned.